Welcome back to Love Life After. I am your host, Christelle, and on today's episode, it's a special one to me. I want to share something I'm deeply proud of in being accepted into the Goldman Sachs BIB program.
Baby, you're my coat. She got me feeling like a dope fiend. I'm addicted to a black queen. Baby, you're my coat. She got me feeling like a dope fiend. I'm addicted to a black queen.
Welcome back. Of course, I am Christelle, and if this is your first time listening, thank you for joining and thank you so much for your support. I really appreciate it. But if you are a listener and you've been listening since the beginning or just a few episodes back, I want to say thank you. Thank you for your love. Thank you for your support. Your continuing support is the reason why I continue to do this. And today, this episode is really special to me because I feel like has been, well, it's come from like year of, just praying and asking and hoping that, I will get some help to help me with my business, right? So before we get started, I just want to give a little backstory real quick. The reason why I even started on this journey of Goldman Sachs program. So a few years back, maybe right after the first cohort, because this is cohort 8. So after the first cohort, I heard because one of my really good friends was in the first cohort and she actually won the recipient award, I believe. I think that's what it was called back then. I'm not sure. But then, I've heard her talked about it. She shared some of her experiences, her stories. But we didn't really go depth into it because I was just like so proud of her and excited for her to even heard the name just associated with her was like so just meaningful. And I was just so proud. So I didn't really go deep into it. So it wasn't until years after one of my clients came and said, hey, I have a friend or cousin. It might have been a cousin. Don't quote me wrong. Yeah, it might have been a cousin, I believe. So she said, hey, my cousin is in this program and she did such a great thing just by going, and I want you to try it. I want you to apply and see if you'll get in. So I was like, okay, I like trying new things and I like any opportunity that I get to better my business. So I took it upon myself to apply what she told me, and I applied for the program. So when I applied for the program the first time, and I didn't know this until like when I applied the second time. So when I applied the first time, I didn't get accepted. And I know why I didn't get accepted, because they want your full attention, okay? So when I applied the first time, I was all over the place. I was doing so much. My business was like, it was chaotic. Like I was just doing the most. And when I got on my interview, I thought, okay, this didn't go well, so it's not gonna happen for me. I just had that mentality that it was not my time. So, and I accepted it. I didn't think anything of it. I didn't even like accept it to get any information back from them. So this second time around, when I apply in the midst of, of course, my husband going through some tough times. We were deciding like whether we were gonna stay where we were or not. Just like it was just a lot going on. But when I applied this time, I was like, oh, I think this is really it, because the way where my business is right now, I think this is the time for me to really dive in and take this seriously. And then that's what I did. So I put all in. I applied for the program. I did everything right, insert. But, of course, months went by and I'm like, okay, I haven't heard anything. So this is it. So it wasn't until I was on my trip to when we went to West Africa. While I was on my trip, one morning I woke up, opened my email for some odd reason. I'm like, why am I opening my email? Because I had to say that I was done, but something had happened with one of my stylists. So when I was like, okay, let me open the email, see if the client say anything. When I opened the email, the first thing I saw is Goldman Sachs Black Women in Business email. So I opened the email and automatically I saw congratulations. When I saw that congratulations, my husband was still asleep and I just screamed, oh my God, I'm in. So from there, of course, when I was so excited, I told my whole family, and it just felt like the right place for me to get that acceptance letter because it was like meaningful being that, I was way out of the country and I'm getting this message. So it really meant a lot just to be in that space, knowing what it meant to me. But this moment wasn't just about me in that moment. It was like about just the way I was thinking about it at that time. It was about all the late night, like all the prayer and every moment that I questioned whether I was even capable, but I still showed up for myself anyway. So that moment, that's what it meant to me. So, and the story began from there. And of course, when I came back, everything just started. Um, we had to do so much, but I don't want to go into detail on everything that we had to do. But I do want to share this because sometimes success doesn't arrive with applause, right? It arrives quietly. And after years of doing the work, and sometimes you feel like no one is really seeing what you're doing. And honestly, when I got that acceptance email, I cried. I did. Not just because of the opportunity, but because of what it represented to me. And it represented like really years of just me building my business brick by brick. The time that I wanted to walk away, the times that I doubted myself, like I doubted myself like as a leader really, because as a mom and a woman trying to really balance like all my responsibility, it really made me question if the business I was in, if it was a need for it. But I've always known that there were a need for it, but it was just like me overthinking myself all the time, right? So if my husband would say it, I'm an overthinker, and I am, and I'm learning and I'm trying to get out of that mentality of overthinking things and just seeing them what it is and what they are, right? So, all right, that's just like a little backstory of what I wanted to share, right? So when we first got there, just walking in that room full of like all Black entrepreneurs from all over the country, I remember thinking to myself, do I belong here? Like, I just kept saying that, oh my God. And then I was like, I do belong here. Like, walking into that room and seeing all the beautiful women, all the beautiful Black women, that it was just, there's no word on how I can explain that moment. But I also remember feeling something else. Like, I just remember feeling the weight of growth. I don't know if that makes sense to y'all, but I felt like it was like a weight, right? That's just like, oh, it's hard to explain. Like, I wish I would have like wrote this down so I could prepare for it, because initially I was not going to share this moment, but I really wanted to share it because I'm coming to the end and I've learned so much, and I want to share some of those lessons. And I believe that my cohort sisters will feel the same way too. And because we've all, I've met like a group of women that are phenomenal, and I am so blessed to be in their presence every week. Like we've, shared stories, we've built relationship, and I'm never gonna go or leave those behind because I'm really always going to carry those with me. And I just want to share some of those lessons that I learned, through this journey with you. And I hope when, my cohort sisters are listening to this, that they take away that something from me, and that they know that we do belong to this program, and this is our time. So one of the lessons that I learned, like, really is, like I was saying, with the growth, right? The way of the growth. So growth requires, like, I feel like an identity shift, right? So when we step into a space like that building, that Goldman Sachs building, it's not just about the business, it's about our identity. Because as entrepreneur, like, we don't realize how much our identity is tied into what we do daily. Like, everything that we do, everything we put in, all of our heart, not who we are, but that's where many of us struggles. We all struggle, and we all like, came into this place because we all wanted something. Like, I know, talking to some of the sisters, some of my cohort sisters, we started questioning, like, who am I without this chaos? Like, what if, I can't do this? Or what if all this constant busyness is like trying to take over? Or am I really, like, for me, I was like, am I ready? Am I ready to really, be at this high level um, place where they're going to teach me everything I need to learn? So, but going back to what I said, if you ever want to be part of any program or any major opportunity, like, I just want to say that you have to make sure that you are ready mentally and emotionally. Because I feel like growth sometimes will expose what we haven't healed from. And that's what I learned in the beginning of this. And even though, like, sometimes success will magnify whatever that we haven't, like, managed, knowing that we belong there, it really put us in a place where we know that if we were to really believe in ourselves, we know that our identity is not rooted in what we've already experienced, because we are more than our work, and our identity is actually rooted in purpose, not all the productivity, like, not all the work that we do. And that's one of the things that I learned, and that was the hardest lesson for me, to learn that I'm more than my work, I'm more than what I'm doing. um and I'm just gonna keep going because I really want to get this out, because I've been thinking about this all week, and I feel that's why I wanted to share this opportunity to share my part of this story. So, preparation, right? So what does that look like? At first, I was feeling overwhelmed, but the program really reminded me that opportunities don't just show up randomly. And let me tell you, this opportunity did not show up for me randomly, because if I was still in my old mindset, or the mindset that, oh, I wasn't, gonna get accepted, I wasn't gonna be able to do what I need to do to be able to, do all the work that's required. No, those opportunity comes randomly, and they show up when you prepare for this. Like, especially when you've been preparing so much, like, you want it, but you don't know where to start. But it forced me to look at every part of my business, not just the pretty side, but all the sides that come along with it. And the things that I had to work on were, I had to review my financials, reevaluate my system, and to be honest, like, all of the things that I was currently doing was not working for me. And I thought, it was working, but really it wasn't working until after I had to unlearn all the things that I was doing to position me to where I am. So some of the things that I learned, like, understanding my numbers, understanding my profit margin, streamlining, like, services, and learning how to grow without losing myself. So, and just to go a little back, like, let me just tell you, that work can be very uncomfortable, especially learning numbers. Like, talking to my BA every week, I felt like I had a headache each time I had to talk about numbers, and she will attest to this, because I will go into the meeting like feeling defeated because I'm like, I'm doing everything right and I'm applying everything that, we're learning, right? But it wasn't really about just fixing our business. It was about confronting ourselves, like really going deep and saying, hey, uh, does this look right? Am I doing this right? Am I applying these numbers right? Like, am I learning to grow in the direction that they're really telling me to do? So think about this question, right? So if you're in a situation that you want to help your business, right? Just think about this question. What areas of your life or your business have you been avoiding because it's easier not to look at it? And that's where I was like, it was easier for me not to look at the numbers, not to look at the money that's coming in or going out because I didn't have to think about it. And if I don't think about it, then I don't need to make any changes. But learning those actually put me in a space where I can look at those numbers and be like, okay, this needs to change. And in order for me to even be profitable or to be able to learn more, I need to look at those numbers differently. So while doing so, I just kept telling myself, like, these are some of the things, y'all know how I feel about affirmation. And these are some of the same things that, whenever those numbers and things like that come in, I just keep telling myself that, okay, Christelle, you got this. You are equipped to face all the hard things. And honestly, this foundation was really setting us up, like all of us, for success without really even like realizing that the direction is going was really for us to be successful, not for us to think of it as like work that we're having a headache or being overwhelmed about it, but really to just help us and setting us in a foundation to be successful. Do you have an inspiration to start your own podcast? Are you still undecided about starting your podcast? Well, Buzzsprout has the tool to support and to help you along your way. And they also have a community to ensure you keep on podcasting. Buzzsprout have helped over 400,000 podcasters launch their shows since 2009. So we've seen it all. I've been using Buzzsprout since 2017. Buzzsprout has helped us list our episode on so many platforms, such as Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, Deezer, Pandora, and so much more. Buzzsprout has reached over millions of listeners by listening to our podcast in all these platforms. If you are still unsure about which platform to use, click the link in my description box and head over to Buzzsprout to get more information. Remember, that's BUZZSPROUT.com. Again, BUZZSPROUT.com. Happy podcasting. One of the biggest lessons I learned was how to implement. Not just dream, like really implement, like all the great ideas that we have, but don't really know how to execute them. So execution is what separates dreamers from doers. This is something that I've learned, right? So the program pushed us to really take those ideas that we are sitting on and just like turn them into our action plan. It also taught me that leadership isn't just about having all the answers. It's about being willing to unlearn, to learn, to pivot, and to delegate. And those have been really hard for me because, the easiest part for me is the unlearning part. But the delegating part, that's what I've been really struggling with because, as you all know, well, some people may not know, but I have an employee and then I have a contractor that is really hard for me to delegate to them, to let them know or to tell them, okay, this is my dream, this is my value, and to implement those into my business, right? So, and it's really about saying, I don't know yet, but I'm open to finding out. And that's where I am. That's where I've been doing. Honestly, I think I'm way past that now. Like, and what I've been saying to myself now is I am open to new ways of thinking, and my willingness to grow open new doors for me. And I believe that 100% because the more I'm thinking about it, the more it's easier for me to let those doors open so I can do some more unlearning to get where I need to be. And this program also challenged me to break barriers, and not just in my business, but also in my personal life too, like within myself. Because, like I said, this is just me. As women, sometimes, like especially Black women, right? Black women in business, we feel like, or let me go back. We carry so much. We carry so much. We walk in room like where sometimes we feel like we're the only one that look like us, and we still show up with grace. But sometimes the biggest barrier isn't outside of us ourselves, right? It's really inside. It's what we're feeling inside. It's the belief that we don't belong. Like it's sometimes like these just small voices that whispers and play in our head over and over again, and we feel like we're not in a safe space. At least for me. And I know talking to some people, I know some of us feel the same way. So we play it safe. We try to beat something or try to fit in somewhere where we know we belong, but it's hard for us to accept it ourselves. But we can't break barriers by playing smalls. And I learned that because I know now that you break them by showing up, like speaking up and really owning that the space that you're in, that you belong there. And knowing that now, I always try to remind myself that I'm not behind and I know I'm exactly where I'm meant to be, building something that's bigger than myself. And I love that for me because I feel like knowing that about myself is pushing me into new direction in my life, and it makes me happy. Even like sometimes like I just always reminding myself, wow, Christelle, you've come a long way. And that emotional part though, like, and I want to be real quick, like if you ever consider, like, for anybody who's thinking about considering joining this program, you have to be ready to do the internal work, like the work inside of yourself. You have to really face your fear, which I've done, especially about money. You got to face your fear about money. You got to confront your imposter syndrome. Whew. I know I'm guilty of that for so long because I be feeling like, why should I do this? Like, or if I'm doing this, what will people think? I'm no longer there. I don't care what anybody thinks. I care what I think, and I know that I'm on the right path. So I'm way past that. So if you, like I'm saying, like if you really someone who really want to join the program, you have to ask yourself all those questions. Like you have to like accept that your vision will stretch beyond what you have imagined. Um, and another thing, like I said, like we're being real. There were days where I would cry, I would doubt, and I note that this is all setting me into a foundation of growth. But it's all worth exactly what my goal is at the end. So I know it's all worth it because when we're in the process of trying to expand, expansion really begins when we stop resisting those transformations that we're so close to, but because of our doubts in ourselves, we shift those thoughts, right? Without really knowing that's what we're doing. And now I tell myself that I am emotionally ready. I am always emotionally ready, and I'm going to prepare myself to be emotionally ready. And I trust myself that when those blessings starts to rolling in, the ones that I pray for, that I'm equipped to handle it. And I know that because I'm doing the work. I am so proud of myself. And I'm excited. I'm so excited, like beyond measure, because being in this program give me the gift of connection. I've connected with so many amazing, like phenomenal, beautiful women, like beautiful Black women that I met who are also, of course, they're all leaders in their own industry, of course, and all with different story, but the same drive. We all have the same drive, and we all just want to see our business thrive. We want to see our business scale. We want to see it, where we have dreamed for it, what our values are for our business. And it reminded me that when we all rise higher, when we all rise together, of course, like collaborating isn't competition, it's community. And I see that like my cohort sister, my grow group sister, they are amazing. And I am so proud to be, in presence of all of them that are doing great, that are like really pushing themselves to be better for their business. And that is powerful. And that's why like I feel like this experience had taught me that, when we walk in a room that once intimidated us, we have to realize that we were chosen for a reason. And I know for a fact that I was chosen for this reason. And something that keep reminding me I've been reminding myself, of course. So I know next time I walk in somebody's room, I have to remind myself that I belong there. And the room I walk into now are not beyond me. They were built with me in mind. Whew, I am so proud of myself. Like throughout this journey, like I had to reflect really a lot. Almost every day, I keep reflecting. My husband can attest to this. Like sometimes I'm just sitting on the bed, like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, doing, work, like reevaluating my numbers, like putting, implements in place. And I had to reflect not only on where I am or where I want to go, but really who me myself was becoming. And this program made me revisit all of my reasons why I started this business in the first place and why I continue to educate and like want to pour into women and to empower women. And also why I believe that in healing and in like just me like doing hair, like talking to people, um, I realize it's never just about that. It's not about just doing hair. It's about helping women restore confidence, restore their purpose, and restore their peace. Like I want to be able to give women that, and then learning, going through this program is teaching me to even doing that beyond what I have already been doing. And that's the kind of legacy that I'm building. And with all the lessons that I've learned, like all the room that I've, been or had the opportunity to go, I know that it's all for a greater good. And I now know because I am walking in my own purpose. And every step that I take now is all aligning with like God's greater plan for me. And I'm just so happy. Um, I just feel like overwhelmed with joy now. Like I'm not feeling overwhelmed with the numbers anymore. Like when I tell y'all, if you want to learn more, call me and I will talk to you about all the financial that has been giving me headache. But of course, like we're at the end of the program now, and and those weren't that. What I learned was really being a part of this program has inspired me that there are more, opportunities out there for me, and I can't wait to invest more into my growth, like and let the right door open for me because I know that success isn't luck. Like, we have to really put in the work. We have to stay consistent, have faith, and try. Like, don't just sit there and like think that everything is just gonna be handed to you. No, you have to put in the effort. And when God said it's your time, I'm telling you, you got to seize that time. And this is our time. And for any of my cohort sisters that are listening to this, cohort A, if you're listening to this, no one can stop you now. Like, this is your time. Like they told us, it's your time, seize it. This is your time. So you have to seize it. So wherever you are in your journey, like, keep planting those seeds. And if you even like see anything that you feel like is not aligning with what you want to do, even if no one sees them yet, your seeds are growing. And be willing to invest in yourself, your education, your craft, your business, because you are worth it. And remember, you don't have to shrink yourself for nobody, because you deserve to be in that room that God opens for you, and He opens it for a reason. And I want everybody to know that whatever room you are in, if you don't feel like comfortable, it's not your time. But when you walk in a room and you seize it and you know that you belong there, that's God's doing. And I'm just so proud of myself. I'm so thankful to be part of this program. And I can't wait to share so much more with all the opportunities that I've learned from, going through this program. I just want to say thank you guys so much for, letting me share this milestone with you. I hope this episode encouraged anybody who is trying to prepare to hit that next level in their business, not just financially, but really emotionally and spirit too as well, because sometimes we don't realize that it is also spiritual, because vision without action is just a dream, but faith with action, that's what makes a reality. And I just want to remind you that your purpose is bigger than your fear, so step boldly into it. Until next time, if you have any question, comments, or concern, please email me at lovelifeafter18@gmail.com or on our social media at love.lifeafter, and I will make sure that I answer those personally myself and send you anything that you need. I thank you again. I love you. Thank you so much for listening. Until next time. Peace.